can't buy time.
Yep.
Time passes us. So I mean, you could always get money, but you can't always get time. So
that's good.
The goal is to acquire enough, get enough cash flow, so I can one day just step away and have all the time that I want.
Yep. Welcome everybody to this episode of the Come Up Podcast. Today I have Garrett Reuter in the studio. He's here to tell us about his story, where he started, why he loves real estate, what he's doing in the future. This guy is a wealth of knowledge. He was a mentor to me and helped me so much. He helped me accelerate my game in the real estate space. So please stay tuned, take some notes, and if you find value in this episode, please just like and subscribe. We'll see you soon. Welcome everybody to the Come Up Podcast. Today we have Garrett Reuter in the studio. He's a multifamily real estate investor here in San Diego, California. Coming live, 41 stories up in the sky. How you doing today, Garrett?
I'm doing pretty good, Luna. Can't complain. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to come hang out and share your story, because I know you got a lot of info. So
yeah, of course. Well, thanks for having me in your new office/pad. It's looking pretty fresh, and must say it is looking pretty nice. It is golden hour, so it's a great atmosphere. So thanks for having me.
I appreciate that. Well, let's jump right into it. Most of our audience is going to be guys who are trying to break into the real estate industry and just learn a little bit. So tell us a little bit about how you got into real estate and just give us your story.
Sure. So at the time I was, in my early to mid 20s, I was in LA working in outside sales, and I saved up, a decent amount of money at the time, and I knew I always wanted to get into real estate. So, so at that time, I started coming down to San Diego, visiting you and some of the friends back in the day, and we had a few drinks one night, and I think I opened up to you saying, "Luna, I got to get into real estate." At the time, I was kind of overworked at my job, and I knew that I wanted to build cash flow, so I didn't have to work one day.
Yep.
So when I expressed this to you, you're like, "Oh, I think Holt, has some real estate." Who's another one of our buddies. So I then go up to him, a few minutes later, and I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And he's like, and then he just started showing me numbers, and I got hooked. This was in the San Diego state market, and literally less than a month later, we bought our first place together, and kind of went from there. Then bought another one, then got my parents involved, bought a few of them, and then it started snowballing into partnering with other people, and it really just kind of blew up. The few years after that, yeah.
Yeah. No, I remember specifically that was a while ago. That was probably what, 2012 or 13.
Something like that.
Yeah, I remember you specifically told me you had like 170,000 saved up. Was it something like that?
It was something like that.
So you were doing good in your day job. You're stacking the cash to the side.
I was, yeah.
And you knew you were going to put that into a vehicle such as real estate?
Yeah.
Because your dad is in real estate,
Yeah,
right?
my parents are real estate investors. My dad's a contractor. So I was fortunate enough to hear that language growing up, saying, "Son, you need to invest in real estate so you don't have to work one day," and all that stuff. So
Good.
So yeah, I did save some money, and I was saving a lot. I was still living with roommates. I think I even slept on the couch for a few months.
Yeah, I remember that house.
Transitioning from place to place, but yeah, that's really how it all got started, and I really found a niche. Well, I went to San Diego State, so I already knew what the market was, but I didn't really know the investment side until Holt got me involved, and it really just kind of snowballed because it was such a good little niche and investment to produce cash flow.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's awesome. That's great. That's I feel like that's very typical, right? Like people want to get into real estate, they don't know where to start, but then they go and talk to their friends. That's actually how I got into real estate.
Right.
Like you taught me the game. I saw you and Matt buying homes, and I was like, wow, I want to get involved with this too. So you were showing me a lot of things. I think we actually did our first deal together. You represented me.
That's right.
On a purchase.
That's right. That was a fun, crazy time.
5510 Dorothy.
5510 Dorothy. Yeah, we were just super young.
Yeah.
Really, and it was competitive too, trying to get these homes. So, yeah, we were just motivated, eager, and hungry, and we got it.
Yeah, we did. We did. That was an interesting one because to get that one, there were a lot of offers on it, but we just came in strong, just turned it into a student rental, and turned out good.
It did, yeah. I mean, it was prime time location too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's such a great market over there, and not just San Diego State. I think college markets, certain college markets, can be, you can gain a lot of equity and cash flow just by getting more bedrooms. It can be a really good investment. If you get into the right college markets.
Yeah. So with San Diego State, you rent by the bedroom, anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200 a room.
Yep.
And your goal is to buy a single family home,
Yep.
remodel it, build an ADU in the backyard. Can
Yeah.
you tell us about like that process? Like how long does it take to get ADUs and what's that like?
Sure. Well, before that, it was just buy it, renovate, and do an addition, add a few more bedrooms. So
Yeah.
it was more like the mini dorm model where you just try and stack a bunch of kids in there. But once the ADU rule came into play, it opened the floodgates for, instead of having 5-6 bedrooms in a house, you're adding another 4-bedroom house on top of that. You're almost doubling your rent. So it became a really enticing investment. But to answer your question, what's the process? It was the length of time to do it? Yeah, I'd say, it depends on the city that you're with. I mean, right now, the city of San Diego is really slow just because there's so many people trying to build right now. There's a lot of permits.
Are more people catching on to this whole ADU thing?
Yeah, it's kind of mainstream now,
Yeah.
at least in the single family space. So there's just so many permits. And also the city is undergoing a lot of turnover. So it's just... things just get backed up. But right now, I mean, to get a permit, it's, to submit, once you submit to the city, it's probably 8 months. So
Wow.
To get to submittal is another, few months after that. You're looking at, 10 months to a year.
Got it. So these properties sometimes could bleed for a little bit.
Correct, yeah.
Or break even.
And that was kind of a learning curve. Like, hey, things change in, obviously in markets, but also with, like city municipalities processing times.
Yeah.
It could be construction too. So it used to be, 4 months, get the permit, and then boom. And the San Diego State rental cycle, it's very seasonal. So the goal is you have the tenants move in, June, July, August for that whole school year. And then it starts the clock over. So back in the day, we'd pick up the house, summer or winter, we get the permits in 3-4 months, and then boom, we can build it in time for that school year. But that's not the case anymore. So it's there's a little more planning, a little more vacancy you need to account for, and more of a little more longer term horizon. Not so long, but it's not the get the permit real quick, build it, and rent it out. Like sometimes you have to kind of plan. Okay, maybe we need to wait a year. What are we going to do for that? That year and a half until it's fully done.
Yep.
So,
Gotcha. So you took what you've learned at SDSU, and I see you buying all these properties in North Park, and kind of it's like North Park is like SDSU on steroids, right?
It is. Well, it's the multifamily space in general. It's the ADU play that I did at San Diego State, but it is kind of on steroids because instead of buying a single family, adding one ADU, I'm buying 2 to 4 units, sometimes more, but I'm liking to buy the 2 to 4 units that still have buildable space on the lot, still have garages, and I'm adding 6, 8, maybe 10 ADUs on top of it.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So like the value you're adding is crazy because each of those units could be worth $350 to $400K per unit, right? And to build it is what, $250?
Maybe high 100s, I'd say.
So okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I think right now, maybe when it's all done, if you have a remodeled unit, I think it's worth in the 400 to 500K range per unit. So, okay. So say you get a decent deal, and it's hard to get
What's a decent deal? How much?
It's, I like to buy 1.1 to 1.5.
Okay.
But I'm saying a decent deal, if you're buying it 350 a unit, because there's not a lot because if the market's shifted, but I think the multifamily space is still strong, at least somewhat strong. So it's hard to get stuff that's heavily discounted that's not remodeled because they're still investors. So yeah, maybe you can get it like what it would cost to renovate, like off on as far as a discount. So there's sometimes you get a little bit of a deal, but there's not. So say you buy it for 350 a unit, you put 50K in per unit, and then it's worth 400 to 450 a unit. So you have a little gain,
little spread, 50 units.
As opposed to building that same unit for 180. I mean, the spread is that gain, and you times it per unit that you're building. It's just it's a huge swing.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
So it's it takes more time and there's a longer process, but you're willing to do the work because you have a construction background. You can get decent deals, and basically that's how you're building your equity. Almost like what you did at San Diego State, but you're able to scale it now.
Right, exactly. So I was always, I always, me, other investors,
17 years. I counted today since 2006. You're
really?
one of my longest friends I've known or I've had.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
We've come so far.
We have. Here we are now.
Yeah. But, I think, what was the question?
Yeah, I think there's just a big spread on these North Park deals. And I think that's really good that you're tackling that and spearheading that and raising money to do that.
Yeah, it's definitely a harder deal. It's harder than SDSU. It's harder than single family just because everything's even longer with the permitting. We're getting MEP, mechanical, electrical, plumbing permit or plans. Just adds time. The structural's longer. The city time is longer. So it's more planning.
Got it. You got to have a little more equity on the side for a rainy day.
Yeah,
you
need to have cash on the sidelines. There are some bridge lenders that like these kind of deals that will lend.
What's that rate looking like?
I mean, they're 9% plus right now. So it's not cheap debt, but they look at the deal and they will lend. Some of them will lend all of the construction debt.
100%
in stages. But that said, you got to plan for it. You got to buffer because stuff's always more expensive in construction.
Yep.
You got to buffer the monthly payments if there's a negative, between the current rent and what the payment is, which it's kind of looking that way right now. Before rates got super crazy, you're able to break even now. You can renovate the units and get to break even, at 3 to 4 units. It might be a slight negative, but if you're going to a single family or a duplex, you're bleeding.
And you for a year or so?
At least a year to get the permit.
Yep.
It's maybe a year and a half. In some instances, and then that builds a little bit longer instead of 4 to 6 months, it's 6 to 8 months. So you just got to kind of plan. You got to be really good at budgeting.
Yeah, you got to plan ahead and know what you're getting into.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie, it is tough.
Is it more stressful than SDSU? Would you say?
Yeah, I'd say so. Just because the mortgage payments are a lot. They're a lot bigger. Instead of $3,000, $4,000 a month, it's $10,000, $12,000 a month.
So I think you're like me, but I wanted to ask you, your long-term vision for your real estate is to build wealth and to keep these assets as long as possible. Yeah. Like we never thought we'd sell San Diego State. We thought maybe we'd sell at like $1 million, 1.1. We started getting crazy numbers recently, selling at 1.5, 1.6, 1.7. Okay, it made sense to sell. So now we're trading up. Right. With your North Park deals, do you plan to keep those long term, refinance, or do you not know yet? You're trying to increase cash flow. What's your long term vision?
I say now that I'd want to just keep them once they're all done, just because it is so much work. But who knows? maybe I trade one here and there, maybe I cash out one here and there. But I think the play at this point, just because now I'm still young, but I am getting older.
Recently married?
I'm recently married.
Your wife is
My
here
wife
with us
is
today.
Here. She's the only fan right here, but I know we have a huge audience watching. So thank you, everyone.
Yep.
But yeah, so just, I'm, getting a little older, settling down, want to have a family. So, I kind of want to slow down.
Absolutely.
The hustle and bustle, because
you're not on the come up as much anymore.
I still feel like I am, because I see the opportunity. So that's just my mindset. I want to keep going. With acquiring new deals, selling, 1031ing, cash out refi, buy another one, partnering with another person. So it's kind of in my in my blood to do that, I guess, or part of my DNA. But I think I'll still be doing stuff. I think hopefully once I get through this next round or two, I'll start to pump the brakes, start paying attention more to being a dad, being a husband, doing awesome stuff with the kids, because that's true happiness.
Yeah,
right there.
That's what life's really about, right?
Yeah.
Experiences with your significant others and family.
Correct. Yeah.
The real estate is just a vehicle for freedom to make money so that we can have freedom so we can go and do things. That's how I see it.
It's all about time.
We can't forget that's why we really got into it, to get our time. Right?
Yeah. You can't buy time. Time passes us. So you could always get money, but you can't always get time. So
that's good.
The goal is to acquire enough, get enough cash flow so I can one day just step away and have all the time that I want.
Yep. Love that. Well, keep going, man. You're on the right path, and it's been truly inspirational. And thank you for all the times you've helped me on my journey, because I definitely would not be sitting here if it wasn't for you. So thank you.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. It's been fun watching you from you being an agent, helping you on your first transaction. And hey, you've been crushing it as well.
Trying. Deal by deal is what I always tell you. Yeah, deal by deal. Still having fun with it.
Yeah, you have to.
Yep. Awesome. Okay. Well, so I see you started a new Instagram page. I think that's great to build brand awareness, because social media, if you're not on it these days, you're really non-existent as far as like raising money and building awareness around your brand. So tell us a little bit about your page and...
So I created a new page called Max It Out ADU.
So MAX?
MAXITOUT.
Okay, ADU.
So, ADU, like max out one word.
Got it.
So, it's just, it's really everything that I've already been doing. I just, like you said, want to bring awareness to everyone that may not know what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So, I think part of the reason is, recession talks and, uncertain market, I just kind of want to, put myself out there and just, build that awareness for people, to me. So
yeah, absolutely. I think it's super important. Like if you're not showing up on people's feeds, they tend to forget about you as far as like what you do during your day job. Like I know you work hard and you're working 5-6 days a week, but sometimes it's good to share that with other people so that it's funny. Every time I post, like today I posted that our ADU on 55th, and I had multiple people DM me who I haven't talked to in a while. They're like, hey, like you got any deals coming? It's just one post a day, like keeps the doctor away.
It's funny. I think I tend to not want to post in general just because I don't know. Maybe call me humble. You can also call me, hey, maybe I'm a little like afraid of posting, just like, I don't, not knowing what people are going to think,
That's
about
a big
me
one.
doing, maybe people think I'm bragging, I don't want to come off that way.
Absolutely.
So it could be a combination of those two. But, when I think about it, and I got really into posting, when I had the State Houses page, and even like my own page about investing, I just said, hey, screw it, I just need to let people know what I'm doing. And I had a lot of positive feedback. So, I just decided, hey, let's just go for it again.
Yeah. In my opinion, I think that if you're posting good content and delivering value, you'll attract the people that you want to attract. And if some people don't like it, that's fine too. But you're right. There is a fine line between bragging and, all that stuff, and just like delivering value and raising money. So you do have to be careful with it. I agree.
Yeah, yeah. And I think people know too, like, hey, there's so many people promoting themselves, promoting their brand, promoting their product. So I don't think, it's just more of a mental thing that I, need to get over, which I, try to work on.
Yeah. Well, I think the new page is going to be great. You hired someone to run that page.
Yep.
And they're going to be basically sharing what you do, right? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
they're going to be dropping knowledge on ADUs, and we're filming. Me and my wife are filming more content, more like videos of kind of like a show and tell, walking through like the properties that I'm building and remodeling. So, yeah, I think it'll be fun, and I think it'll it'll bring a lot of value to to people that want to know more about ADUs and how to do it.
That's awesome, man. I love it. I love it. So, I've been traveling to different markets. I was in Vegas a few weeks ago. I was in Miami.
Miami Luna.
You were calling me Miami Luna.
Miami Luna.
I was having some fun out there. Been in Houston recently, just trying to broaden my brain to like look at new deals and be open to different markets, because everyone's always talking about California and how hard it is, right? With evictions, rent controls, all that stuff. Yeah. So I started looking in other markets. Have you ever looked into any other markets?
Honestly, no. I mean, I've toyed the idea with, getting to like the Arizona market, especially like, like the college market out there when I was.
Is that Tempe or?
Like Arizona, Tempe, ASU, U of A. I was, when I was really all in San Diego State and looking like if I'm going to expand, like where should I go? And I was all, multifamily wasn't a thing for me. I was really just focused on the college SDSU market and, and focusing on that niche and seeing where that niche could also apply to. So I thought the Tempe, I thought the U of A, the Tucson market could be, I thought it was interesting. I just never pulled the trigger or looked more into it. I did some numbers, but I came back and I was like, okay, San Diego State's it's better. It's harder to get into because it's more expensive, but it pencils out more. So I just that was pretty much it. Then I went back to my San Diego State grind.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you should double down on what is good, right? Grant Cardone says repeat successful actions. Yep. So as I was driving around SDSU today, I was like, man, I did well in this neighborhood. Like, why am I not still trying to buy assets here? I still should, is my point.
Yeah, it's still a good market.
Yeah.
It's even with higher rates, it's still a good market. I think if you're going to invest in a college town, I always said, make sure there's single family that's walking distance to the school. Make sure it's, it's a somewhat popular school. It has a lot of enrollment. I think a lot of high rises where it's predominantly apartments, it's a little tougher because it's not like you're not getting the bedroom count like where a bunch of students are trying to live in a house together. Yeah. So that was like the main thing. If you're trying to get into that niche, look at the school, look at the real estate surrounding it, like walking distance, because kids want to live walking distance to school, especially if it's like a social type of environment, a bigger school that has good sports, that has good Greek life.
SDSU's Pac-10 now? Is that?
I don't even know. I
saw something about
Pac-10 or Pac-12?
Pac-12.
Pac-12.
Yeah.
I don't know. They were in Mountain West for a while. So
that's awesome. So talk about property management, because I feel like you and I, when we were like in it, like we had to do, like we were leasing homes together. Yeah. We were doing a lot of management. Now I believe, you have that outsourced and that type of thing. But how hard was that? Would you advise that like early on for someone to manage their own property to kind of learn the ins and outs?
If you're early on investing, I would say yes, just to learn faster. Also, if you're just starting and you have the time, I'd say yes. But other than that, I'd say no, just because it's
a time suck.
It does take a lot of time. So, if you're, it depends what your goal is. If you just want to acquire like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of property, take it slow. and you want to, save that money, to help the cash flow, then I'd say, yeah, go for it. If you have the time, go for it. If you're, say you have a full-time job, and I'm not saying if you have a full-time job, you can totally manage your own properties. I was doing that when I was still full-time doing outside sales. But if you're trying to, grow, maybe, do some 1031s, do some refinances, rinse and repeat, buy more. It's going to get really old and it's going to start taking a lot of your time. So I'd advise getting a good property manager to just do that for you, and you focus on getting deals, focus on, the construction, focus on getting the debt, and also maybe your job too, if you're still working.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point. When it comes to getting deals in the multifamily space, it's different than single families. With single families, deals would hit the market on Redfin or Zillow. We'd call, we'd get there, we'd go walk the deal quick. But with multifamily, you need to know brokers, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of, I feel like there's a lot of brokers out there, and I feel like there's a lot of opportunity as well, and there's a lot of off-market stuff. So yeah, I think you need to know brokers big time.
So Cushman and Wakefield, Marcus and Millchap, South Coast Commercial,
all those big guys. Yeah,
CBRE.
Yeah,
those are the guys you want to reach out, get on their email list, and they will send you deals and sometimes off-market deals. If you're like me and you've closed a few deals in, say, a certain neighborhood, call it Pacific Beach, what you'll notice is you'll start getting sent off-market deals all the time, and that's how you'll get more deals. So if you want to get in the game, you got to close that first deal. It's tough, right? The first multifamily deal is the toughest.
Oh, yeah. It's mentally, it's really tough, too. Because it's a big, especially if you're going from single family to multifamily, bigger down payment, bigger monthly payment.
Less leverage, right?
Yeah, less leverage.
That's big because at SDSU we're getting 80% loan, 20% down. My partners.
Right.
But usually I make my partners get the permanent debt while I'll do the hard money to acquire the property.
That's good.
So I think it's interesting. It might be time to start getting some loans, huh?
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you can, partner with people that get the debt, then that works.
That's kind of like what we did, right? Like I was always the operating partner doing the work, similar to you. And then you'd have a partner come in with the down payment or get the loan, and they're kind of a silent partner typically, right?
Right.
You and I would handle construction, and that was kind of the. So do you split your deals 50-50 still in North Park?
Yeah, right now, yeah. And right now it's we're equal money, coming into the deal. And yeah, I'm still doing all the work. I do some of that for a fee, obviously. The construction, just because
it's time.
Yeah,
it's a job.
Yeah, I'm a contractor, so I run it. But yeah, it's all 50-50 right now.
Nice.
I don't know if I'll branch. I could go thirds. I don't know if I'd syndicate and get a bunch of people together and buy a building. It's a lot. It's a lot
I've tried
more.
It.
Yeah.
It's a headache.
No?
Chris Luna here. If you're enjoying today's content, please follow me on Instagram, chrisj.luna. There we chop up this long form into shorter form and deliver it straight to the palm of your hands. Again, Instagram, chrisj.luna. Let's get back into the episode.
You don't want to go back to it?
I don't want to do syndication.
I'll be an LP.
No. Well, maybe. I like you as an LP.
I'm a good LP.
You'd be a good LP. Yeah. You get it. You understand the game.
Yeah.
Partner with you any day, Garrett. Let's go buy something in North Park.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm sitting on a little cash.
Okay.
Let's go do something. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
That's awesome. So you got a new pad in La Jolla you bought from our buddy Matt Holt.
Yep.
Everyone knows that house. We've been partying and hanging out there. It's fun. What is your plan for that house? You're kind of telling me about it.
That's a good question.
But you're basically you're going to become a developer in a sense.
Yeah, no, that'll be a fun one because it's going to be the first one that I'm going to do that's actually my my actual house, you know? So I think about it a little bit differently. I'm not trying to see how many units or how many bedrooms or what the rent's going to be when it's done or the ROI, the cash on cash. It's, I see it as an investment, obviously, because I'm, going to completely change it, but it's going to be something I'm going to want to actually live in for a while. So, it hits the heart a little bit more.
Yeah.
Doing this one, The plan, it's still in the works. I'm working with the architect right now on the drawings. But yeah, it's me. I like to redo everything, so I'm reworking the entire layout.
Your wife is a designer, right? So
she is a designer.
She's going to help you with
She'll help me with the finishes.
That's awesome.
And we'll probably have a high-end contractor who does these high-end builds. Just get the right people in that know.
Yeah,
what
you
they're
want
doing
it perfect,
yeah. So so it's redoing the whole layout, not just cosmetically, but we're moving the kitchen, we're moving the bedrooms, we're popping it out in the front, we're gonna pop it out in the back, but with where we're at, I mean, we can't block any views. There's an HOA.
Explain that, like an HOA.
The HOA, they just oversee the community. I mean, you pay a monthly fee. Some are more, some are less. Mine's really minimal, but really I think I don't even know the purpose of my HOA is I guess the only purpose is to make sure that no one's building anything that they're not supposed to.
It's all about views, right?
It's all about views.
Because you're in La Jolla.
So I'm trying to expand out. I can't go too far and block my neighbor's view because that will devalue their property.
Got it.
Like lawsuits can happen because of that. So that's what the HOA is for, to oversee it. And the plans have to be approved by them before they have to be approved by them before I can build it. So typically we get the HOA approval, then submit to the city for them to do their reviews. But yeah, I'm going to redo the layout, pop it out in the front, pop it out in the back, and then build down because I can't build up and block views, but I can build down. So going to do whatever I pop out in the back, it's also going to be a downstairs as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And maybe like a little infinity pool or something.
Yeah, of course. You got to have the pool.
Got to have the infinity pool.
Got to have the pool.
We'll smoke our cigars, drink a little whiskey.
We can do all that.
Sunset for golden hour.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah, bring the cigars.
Next thing you know, Deanna's going to be pregnant. You're going to have kids running around. You might need a 5-bedroom, so you better add on to those plans.
Shoot, I only accounted for 4.
That's awesome, man. You're all in on real estate. I love it.
Yeah, it's fun, man.
Aren't you getting your brothers involved? So it's like a family business? I love that.
Yeah. Like my brothers are also investing. I'm getting them involved on some of the multi deals, smaller percentages, but getting them involved. And also one of them, Austin, he's now working for me full time, helping me with the construction management, which is really nice. It just helps save me time just because I'm just doing so much. I can't do everything. So
yeah.
It's been a learning curve, just learning to delegate.
Same.
Yeah. So, and I think that's it's I think difficult for anyone who's, is used to, grinding and getting their own stuff.
Right.
It's
hard to let go. Because you want, how you do things and it's like perfect, right? It's like boom, 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 boom. You have your checkbox. So to give that up, it's always scary. But what I've read is if someone else, say your brother, can do 80% of the job you were doing, then that's enough because then you can go and hire more people and focus on what you're good at.
That's a win. If they can do 80%, that's an A.
Yeah.
That's an A player. I mean, even if it's 70%, it's an A player. So yeah, I'm still learning with that. And,
Same.
But it's exciting. And, now instead of me thinking, okay, I got to do everything, I got to take a step back and, more so coach,
delegate,
and be
teach,
and be a leader and try to,
motivate,
be
a CEO.
Yeah.
Build a really big company.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm right there with you. It's hard giving that up. It was hard for me to even give up property management. That was my baby, you don't
want to go manage some San Diego State students?
No, it was fun while it lasted, but I like getting deals. That's where I get the most excited.
You're always really good at that.
Yeah, that's I like talking to the brokers, and we have a saying, it's you impregnate them. You impregnate the broker that you're the buyer for the deal, and I will close.
This is my deal. Yeah, I will close.
Yeah, so that's my favorite thing is getting deals. Okay, Garrett, so again, thank you for coming in. This has been great. I think you've provided so much value for our listeners.
Yeah, of course. It's always fun hanging out with you, Luna.
Yeah, always a good time. Last question for you. If, there's a 23-year-old straight out of college, he's wanting to get into the game, what he's on the come up. He's trying to make a name for himself.
Right.
What would you advise to him? How does he make money? How does he save that money, put it into a deal? What's his path to get to where we're at?
Right. So, I mean, there's two things, and we've talked about it. It's the money and the deal. You got to have one of those. If you're the money route, you need to support your life and, pay rent and all that stuff. But, if you're really trying to stack money, I'd focus getting the highest paying job possible, probably a sales job. There's a lot of opportunity in sales, unless, if you're not like a lawyer or a doctor or a dentist or, like a trade, something that you go to school for. If you're fresh out of college, you can get a sales job, and if you're good, you can make a lot of money. So
that's what you did, right?
Yeah. So just you get a sales job, like be a high performer, grind, work your butt off, and then once you get that money, save it.
Save it, right?
That's the hardest part.
In like a sacred account.
Yeah, it's just it's basic finance and concepts. Just take a percentage out of every check and put it in your savings. Don't even think about it. Don't touch it.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I'd say like that's principle number one. You usually need to have money, for the deal, especially if you're fresh, because the other part is finding the deal. Chances are, if you're fresh out of college, you don't have any experience, it's going to take you. There's going to be a learning curve for you to find a deal.
Yeah, you don't even know what a good deal looks like.
Yeah,
yet.
you don't even know. So, and that's okay. But I think going on that path is, you don't get strung up on, hey, I have to find the deal. Like I'd say, hey, like, try and get involved, try and network with people, try and show your enthusiasm, your passion for real estate and wanting to get better. Because people, how successful they are, they want to do deals with people that they like. So like
they know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
Right?
So like I remember, there's a work friend of mine. I didn't know him that well. He didn't know anything about real estate, but he saw what I was doing. He's like, hey, like, he just had the best attitude, like
positive,
like
good energy, fun.
Yeah, like just good vibes.
It's contagious, right?
Yeah, and he's like, hey man, like I really want to get in the game, man. Just let me know. And like I was like, it'd be really cool to partner with him. And and I literally just partnered with him. I bought 3 properties with him. Like,
are we talking about Tom?
No. I mean, him too.
Yeah. Shout out to Tom. Tom's a good partner of ours, and he knows how to have a good time. Uncle Tom.
Yeah. It was my buddy Nate.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah.
So he's just he was young. He's younger than me.
But he was excited.
He was excited.
Yeah.
But he also had money because he was doing outside sales too. So if you don't have to necessarily be in the weeds trying to like be the expert and try to learn. If obviously you could probably make a lot more money if you are more active, like the active investor, but maybe you're not, maybe you want to get like a stable job and grind and save and because maybe you just got like a good job and a good career, and that's okay, and you just want to passively invest, save that money and then just try and get connected with real estate people,
operators like us, right? Like I would do a deal with someone.
Yeah, if it's someone, try and like link up with people that if you don't know anyone, just like friends of friends, just try and get in front of people and tell them like, hey, like I'm really interested, I really want to get coffee with you. I really want to pick your brain. Like, I'm really into this. Like, let me know what I need to do.
You were doing that with Keith Henderson. I remember you used to get coffee with him, right? Yeah. And he was kind of like showing you about SDI. I remember that.
Passionate,
yeah.
And maybe he's like, like I want to do, he's, all about it, I don't want to invest with people that, that aren't necessarily like
committed. They're not all in.
Yeah, they're not all in. They don't they're not like passionate about it. It's more of like so like I feed off enthusiasm. I think most people do. So I think it's just like being excited about it. Save your money. Like if you want to be active, like really just get your feet wet, like talk to brokers, like look at deals, call them, try and get connected. So,
Listen to this podcast,
Yeah,
absorb knowledge,
yes.
be a sponge, basically.
Yeah.
Be a sponge and absorb knowledge.
Yeah.
I feel like education.
Take Luna out to lunch and dinners every Friday and Saturday.
Yes, I am free.
And he will take you on the journey.
Yeah, I will show people around.
But don't miss a Friday or Saturday or you're dropped.
There you go.
That was a joke.
Okay, so where can everyone find you? I think we already went into this, but what's your Instagram?
Yeah,
Just say it to the camera.
Yeah, so my new page is Max It Out ADU. You can follow me there. My personal account is Reuter8, I believe. You can follow me there. But yeah, those 2 pages.
Awesome. Okay, that about wraps up our show here today. Garrett Reuter, thank you so much for stopping by, coming in the studio.
course.
Your time is very valuable when you're playing the game when you're playing at the level you are playing at. I know your time's valuable, so thank you, and thank you for dropping all those bombs and knowledge on everyone. And yeah, appreciate it.
Of course, Luna. It was always a pleasure. Cheers.
Cheers.
Boom.
Okay.